Nicholls, General Secretary of General Federations of Trade Unions. Thank you very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Situation of political prisoners in Turkey, one of my topics that I would like to ask you. Also, the detaining of HDP members, also aggressive tensions of Turkey at the Syria and Iraq border, as well as Mr. Abdullah Öcalan's isolation last 21 years now. Can you see a democratic picture of Turkey in all that topics? What is your comments about that?
Well, we've sent delegations to Turkey and the Kurdish regions. The Imrali visit last time, and we're part of the Freedom for Öcalan campaign here. So we do get a lot of information firsthand and from people directly experiencing issues there. We also had speakers from the HDP to our last conferences, and we've also had a big festival for Kurdish community coming over to be part of our cultural festival. So we do have a lot of knowledge, and really it's quite extraordinary, the situation. I was trying to think whether there's anywhere in the world where the situation is so bad for trade unionists, for human rights campaigners, and for opposition parties. And I honestly can't think of a situation worse than Turkey. There are 3 jails, and many thousands of those are only there because of their political opinions, or because they were in jobs in teaching or the civil service or in journalism or in the justice system, which the coup run by Erdogan has suppressed and imprisoned. And many of the real criminals, while in the jails, often subject to completely outrageous legal proceedings, not really legal at all, are many good, fine, principled, democratic comrades whose only desire is to see democracy and peace and justice, not just in Turkey, but in the region. So it is an extraordinary situation, and we from the trade union movement in Britain send our heartfelt support and solidarity to all those political prisoners in Turkish jails, wrongly imprisoned, only there because they believe in peace and democracy.
Freedom for Mr. Öcalan's campaign, how is it growing since you start campaigning about it? And also, does it grow as much as the other campaigns that you have been in? Your
Öcalan campaign, which was adopted by the TUC formally, I think some 3 or 4 years ago, is gathering momentum. In 2018, there was a big Kurdish presence and an Öcalan presence at the big Durham Miners Gala. And I spoke at the gala last year and again mentioned the campaign, and that's to an audience of about 300,000 people, which also gets on the social media. And we as an organisation have publicised the campaign very, very strongly amongst our affiliates. And you'll know that our campaign, the Freedom for Öcalan campaign, which was based in the trade union movement, has every year got more support and more publicity. And it's our hope that we can make this campaign as equally important as the campaign that we had to free Nelson Mandela. It's of that significance, and we don't just see this as a campaign for one badly treated individual in prison in Turkey, but we see this as if we can get Öcalan released, as helping to release the democratic and the peaceful forces, the men and the women who want to work together for peace in the whole Middle East, without the imperialist presence, without the rush for oil, without the deliberately created divisions in that region. So this is a very significant one, not just for the Kurdish people, not just for a better approach to democracy in Turkey, but for the whole region, because Öcalan clearly stands for a more progressive future for the whole region.
So we can say that Mr. Öcalan is a key for peace in Middle East and many conflicts in the world, right?
Definitely, without any question about that at all. And he has signposted a vision of peace and democracy for that region, away from the sectarianism, away from the imperialist controls and their puppets, and in favor of the people and their grassroots democracy and their appreciation that women and men together can make a new society.
What else needs to be get done for freedom for Öcalan in Europe? You know, what else needs to be get done? Because lots of campaigns goes on. The biggest campaign is you running the Freedom for Öcalan campaign. But what else needs to be get done? Also, delisting the PKK is also something that needs to be get done. Am I right?
Yes, it should be taken off of that international terrorist list for sure, as some of the lawyers in Belgium were at once indicating. But more pressure needs to be put on by governments against Turkey. It shouldn't be in NATO while it's behaving like this. It shouldn't be a partner to so many trading agreements while it's behaving like this. And it should be isolated and subject to sanctions unless Turkey releases Öcalan and begins properly to engage in the peace process again.
Your comrades in Turkey, HDP members, are still being detained, being imprisoned. Lately, you have sent them out a solidarity message to the one of the Congress. So, what would you like to tell them via our channel?
Well, we are thinking of you. You are our brothers and sisters. You are our comrades. We will always fight for your release. We will fight to support the democratic policy making of the HDP. We will draw to the attention of politicians and the public here the injustice of your situation, and we will continue to give you 100% support. We'll send more delegations. We'll continue to lobby the Turkish embassy in London. We'll continue to lobby the Turkish government, and we will continue to support all those forces who understand that your imprisonment is fundamentally anti-democratic and completely unjust. And we know that you will survive and prosper.
General Federation of Trade Unions, Nicholls, thank you very much. Joining us today. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your support to our channel.
My pleasure. Good luck to you all.